Hello everyone, and today I will talk about the talent 1 of Wang, which is basically how to use Wang guide. Since the skill activation of Wang basically only give the stone, which are his summon or we can so-called as a trap. And majority or we say important part of Wang is the passive effect given when the stone is triggered. So how to use Wang is basically how to deploy the stone. And inside the game, in the talent part, it actually didn't stat much, and of course it cannot stat much, since the info is quite many till I can make this video. Okay, enough for the nonsense, let's get started. This is the information inside the PRTS wiki. This is a wiki that created by CN server player. As you can see, it is very comprehensive and detailed. But this also means that you cannot actually use a translation tool to translate it directly. So after I have translated it, you will see that there is even more text now. Okay, let us separate it one by one. The first talent, Mode Stone, when you Wang ranges Elite 2, you can deploy up to 7 Wishy Stone, can haul up to 8. Stone link together and activate each other. Enemy that enter a type with an active stone will trigger its effect. When manually deploying a stone, one will deploy an additional stone on a tile next to it. At most 10 stone, prioritizing deploying on an undeployable type with enemy. Okay, in simple words, after you deploy a stone, one will deploy another beside it. Your activated stone will have golden effect, whereas one stone will be black. And to be noticed is that one stone cannot be manually retreated. Okay, the blue bracket +1 is basically just mean that you will see this info when you are in potential 3. If you are not in potential 3, then all of these black numbers shown will be need to -1 to be the exact value in the potential 0 to 2. Now we continue with the additional information. It is quite long and informative for the first point. We will divide it in sentence by sentence to understand it. The projectile launched via the extra deploy stone talent are in fact fired by Wang himself. This talent means that the stone with the black effect is projectile and is deployed by Wang himself, which means when there is an enemy that can backfire the damage to the damage dealer, like the Witch King Orchestra Salish that appeared at the virtual side event, Wang will be backfired by this enemy when the stone deployed by Wang is triggered. But it is important to note that the stone will be golden effect, which is the stone deployed by us, not be backfired to Wang. Okay, next sentence, they process the same response and damage capabilities as the deployed stone and prompt part of the stone chain. This just simply means that the stone deployed by Wang and the deployed by us are the same function. Okay, have the same function. Next sentence is that the detonation of this projectile is affected by line of sight and the damage is dealt by Wang. This is a very typical example for the sentence, which is we use Wang in near light event where all enemies are invisible in the dark. Hence, the stone deployed by Wang does not give any visibility in the dark, so Wang's stone cannot be triggered, but the stone you deploy can be triggered since it gives a block visibility. Okay, the last sentence in the first point, when a stone is deployed in the same type as one of these projectiles, the projectile will disappear. This sentence just simply states that we can actually overlap the stone that Wang deployed by just deploy on it. Okay, the first point is just some introduction to the stones that let you understand the differences between the stone in golden effect and also the stone in black effect. Now we'll continue with the second point. When the talent is triggered, stones are generated in the following order of priority: types with enemy greater than type without enemy, undeployable type greater than deployable ground type greater than the deployable high ground types. This is basically the rule that how the Wang will deploy the stone. We will talk about this just a moment later. The third point states that the stone have no line of sight. Okay, this means the trigger area of the stone cannot give you any visibility in the dark of the near light, as you can see. Okay, Now I will explain the most important part, which is the second point just now. which state the logic how the Wang will deploy the stone. This is important because you need to understand this to make your Wang maximize the damage. The figure shown in upper right of the video is the conclusion of the second point, and now we will further explain on it. Hopefully everyone will be able to distinguish between this color and not experience any color blindness issue. For the first one, when you just use a normal environment with no high ground, no enemy, no other undeployable type, one will deploy the stone with the priority start from the top and turning clockwise. This is the basic rule of how one will deploy the stones. This rule can be seen when you deploy the stone inside one skill tree area, but this only works when there is no different type beside or no enemy beside. When there is an undeployable type beside the stone we deploy, one will prioritize to the undeployable type first and hence turning clockwise. Please note that one can only deploy on some undeployable type. Latest environment may have some chance that this rule cannot apply, okay? When there is an enemy beside the stone we deploy, one will prioritize to deploy on the type with an enemy first. The type with enemy has the highest priority among all the type, but please note that every unit and hovering unit is not applicable for this rule. This rule is only focused on the ground, or we can say melee unit, okay? Finally, for the high ground type, they have lowest priority compared to the others type. The high ground type will be only deployed by one when all the surrounded by type is deployed with stone. This is because the stone deployed by one cannot be manually retreated by player. Okay? And now we will be looking into the example. When there is a type with enemy and also an undeployable type beside the stone, which of the type will the Wang deploy? Yes, the type with enemy got the highest priority. Okay, and hence is the undeployable type, and finally normal ground type. Hence, we go with the final example where there is a 4 different types beside the stone. One will first deploy on the type with enemy, and hence undeployable type, then the ground type, and finally high ground type. When the one skill tree ended, you will get an extra stones. When you get that extra stone, when inside your inventory you got some stone left, one will deploy all remaining stone on the field. So it is also following this rule. Okay? It is not random. Now we continue with the real example of using Wang. You can actually use Wang to solo H6-4. Actually, this content is just a section taken from the full version of Wang Guide, which cover how to use skill 1, skill 2, skill 3. But after I had a quick look at the script I written, I think it is too long. Yeah, I think it might take about 1 hour to get all done. And I will just have to see if anyone watched this video after all. Editing an hour-long video would be probably wearing me out completely. Yeah. And this video should be uploaded to the official video creation event, so if you found it helpful, do remember to give me a vote and give me a thumbs up. That's all from me, thank you very much.
ここで負けを認めればまだ見苦しくはない。 私の手のひらからは逃れられない。ただなぜそこまで抗う。ただなぜそこまで抗う。まあ楽しませてもらった。